His words painted pictures in the black space of my mind, burning up the darkness with their light. But one day, he went on, a huge storm rolled through her planet, and little Ro was blown into the atmosphere, caught in a whirlwind that tossed her about the cosmos and stranded her on a strange, much larger world. But what about her home? It sounds like you don't want to hear the rest of the story, he said, sitting up suddenly. So I guess I'll just go. No, I'm sorry. I want to hear it, I pleaded, tipping my head up on the pillow to stare at Stanton's gray profile. Then no more interruptions, he warned, settling back against the headboard, and I mimed sealing my lips shut. Anyway, she landed on a new world, and instead of the sea surrounding her, she stood on a field of feathers. Feathers? Huge feathers. They grew from the ground like grass, and they were every color and design you can imagine. When Ro walked, the feathers tickled her bare feet so she couldn't keep from smiling with every step. I squealed with laughter as something soft suddenly brushed the soles of my feet, and I curled into myself and shrieked, "Stan, stop!" Yeah, she reacted just like that, said my brother, and I could hear the ghost of a smile in his voice. Only every time she laughed, he went on, Ro's mind forced her mouth back down into a frown. She shouldn't be happy, not when she was so far from her home. She had to get back. She had to be serious. Were there people on that planet who could help her? I asked, and then I cringed as I suddenly remembered I wasn't supposed to be asking questions. Actually, said my brother, almost as soon as little Rose started walking across the field, she ran into someone. A purple bird that was human-sized and wore a wreath of flowers around its head. Whoa! Yeah, that's exactly what Rose said. And then the bird spoke to her. It spoke? I asked, awed. In a normal, if not slightly squeaky voice, it said, "Welcome, friend. Why do you fight yourself?" I giggled at Stan's high-pitched bird impression. Little Rose's shock at meeting a talking purple bird turned into confusion as she considered his question, and she asked, "What do you mean?" The bird pointed with its beak to Rose's feet. "I can see the ground pleases you, yet you won't allow yourself to feel pleased. Why do you resist the pull of the present in favor of a pain that is clearly past?" That sounds like something Mom would say, I blurted, and then I sucked in my breath at my own boldness. Stan paused only a second, and in that instant it occurred to me that he probably didn't want to sound like Mom right now. Little Rose's shoulders sagged with the weight of her sadness, and she said, "I'm upset because I've left my home, and now I don't know how to get back." The bird frowned. "But why should that be upsetting? Every bird must leave her nest, and once she does, she can never return. The nest dissolves because she doesn't need it anymore." A sense of unease settled in my stomach, and I went from enjoying Stan's tale to not wanting to hear its ending. "I don't like this story. Let's start a new one." "That's not how life works, Ro," murmured my brother, sounding older now that he wasn't speaking in character. "It's like in a game when you're dealt a hand you don't like, you don't get to ask for a new one. You have to change your hand for yourself." "How?" "By playing through it." I didn't understand what he meant because I didn't want to try. There was only one thing I was waiting to hear from him. "Is Mom coming back?" He was quiet for a stretch, and in our silence his breaths grew louder until they rose and fell in rhythm with my own. When at last he spoke, his voice was so low I barely heard it. "I think our nest is gone."